It's ESRL round 8 of 12. We're here in Hungary today. Very, very tough track. I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope you are too. And we're just waiting for the lobby to get underway. I'm going to post my stream in the Discord, and we'll be ready to go. Hello, Lifebelt. Got some practice in for Division 2. Good to hear. Good luck for it. We are about ready to go. Take a drink. I'm well prepared today. A very tall glass of water. Looks like we are ready to go. We're here in Hungary. And I'm very much looking forward to this. 18 minutes of qualifying. I'm going to enable all of this for now. I will, by the way, just because to go to B racing instead of watching Div 1. Fair enough, Lifebelt. Yeah, I have had a conversation with the league admins, and because I am live and potentially giving away crucial information to anyone who might be prying eyes, from now on, I will stick to my telemetry on the screen. Obviously, for qualifying, I can keep everything on, but in the race, I won't have that telemetry at the bottom. I'll have it on my screen to the side, but I won't have it on the big screen until sort of near the end, when it doesn't matter as much anymore, and I won't give away any crucial information when it could directly benefit anyone on track. So that's what we're going to be doing from now on. I hope it doesn't detract too much from the quality of the stream. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm going to ride on board with Donev. He is one of the new drivers in Division 1 today, along with who is it? Along with Sertak Karatep. No idea. I'm going to go with Karatep. But I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But Donev, they both come from Division 2, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do here in Division 1. So we'll ride on board with Donev as he takes us on a lap of the Hungaroring into turn 1. You've got to brake much later than you dare, actually, to get the turn in, or to get as big a speed as you can through the corner. You can brake a lot later than you think. Turn 2, again, there's a lot of different lines you can take through turn 2 without losing really any time. So interesting to see how that will shake up. Now into the very difficult turn 4, and that's very close to invalidating from Donev, but he manages to hold it. Had to lift off a bit though, so will have lost some time. And now to this very tricky chicane with the curbs on the side. You can see makes it very, very hard to go full speed. Or at least the speed that you want to go through that particular section of track. And now to this, again, really tricky corner. You've got to get it absolutely right. And Donev a little bit conservative there, I think. Could have gone faster, but doesn't want to invalidate. Very, very easy to do through there. Easy corner there. And then this corner, it's so easy to spin it on exit. But Donev manages to keep it going. In fact, short shifting to 4th gear on exit of that corner. That was quite the short shift. Round the final corner, he will set the initial pace of 1 minute 16.4. That is not bad at all. I am not surprised he has come up from Tier 2, or Division 2 rather. Amir, a second down. Robin, 8.5 tenths down. So Donev could be a significant influence, shall we say, in Division 1, it seems. Scott's just gone P6 at the back, basically. Trugster into P4, just behind Amir by 100th of a second. Who else is on laps? Nath Clark is going purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2. Here he comes towards the final section of the lap. Again, 4th gear on the exit of there. I'll have to try that myself. Seem like all the fast guys are doing that. But he is coming to the line now. Is he going to go provisional pole? Not quite. He's 2 tenths off. A much worse final sector than Donev. So Nath Clark, the championship leader, will go P2 for now. NER Ayrton is also on an outlap, so we'll keep an eye on him. Aces is starting his lap, but we're right on board with the championship, well, who is now the championship challenger after unfortunately having to miss last week's race, NER Ayrton. Nath Clark having to battle all the way up from the back of the grid last week. He went all the way up to 2nd in the sprint race alone, and then had a good battle with Speed Alcoholic for the race win, which he eventually managed to win with an audacious dive bomb, it had to be said, into turn 3 in Austria. But Ayrton looking to make amends for missing last week and take provisional pole early on here. Looks very, very comfortable in that Ferrari, doesn't he? All the way through these corners. Very precise, very controlled from the reigning champion. Down this short straight. He is purple in Sector 2. He wasn't purple in Sector 1 though. But he's a long way ahead. Sort of 3 tenths ahead in Sector 2. So I think this could be provisional pole. Myra, by the way, has gone P2 just behind Donev. But here comes Ayrton. He said he was setting 115s in practice, and there is a 115. A 115.9. What an incredible banker lap that is for NER Ayrton. That is absolutely incredible. As always, just in a completely different league to everyone else in this division. Well, not as always. Nath Clark, obviously, is the championship leader, so he's definitely been challenging Ayrton at points this season, but when he gets a qualifying lap, no one is going to get, I think, within 4 tenths of him, to be honest. If he gets a good lap, he is outrageous in qualifying. Surtak in the Williams, the championship leader's teammate for today, so no pressure on the newbie's shoulders. He has raced in Division 2, as I said. I believe he won the last Division 2 race, if I'm not mistaken, but Surtak coming around the final few corners now. Where will he be on his first banker lap? Around the final corner, up to the line. It's looking decent, actually. This is a good lap. 16.7 into 5th, and exactly the same time as his teammate. Both plus 0.795 behind Ayrton. Nath Clark in P4 though. I'm not sure if they fixed yet what the F1 rule is, because I think what the game used to do was that it took the times down to lower than 1,000th of a second, so it could differentiate between the two. But in real life, it's the one who sets the lap first gets the position. So I wonder if they've done that on this year's game, or whether they still calculate the margins by invisible numbers that we can't see. Donev is purple in Sector 1. Rick has retired from the session. He has crashed, unfortunately, at the tail end of Sector 2. So he will be back of the grid today, unfortunately, as Donev comes through Sector 2. I realise I'm riding on board with Donev quite a lot, so I will try not to do that as much, but he is purple in... Sorry, he's not purple in Sector 2, but he is 6/10ths up, so this could be provisional pole for Donev. He is looking like a real challenger to NER Ayrton as it stands. Round the final corner he comes. Can he get onto provisional pole? Up to the line, it's looking really good from Donev. It's a 15.7 from the Alpine driver, and he takes provisional pole, and Ayrton is shocked. A 10.5 down. He's going to have to find time, which is not something you often say. The championship leader, Nath Clark, is also on a lap, so we'll keep an eye on him. Robinet is on a lap as well. He's a three-time podium scorer now in ESRL this season. But he is P7 at the moment. Amir coming around the final corner. He is improving, but not by too much and not enough to gain him any positions. He stays P9. Ted Zuber, the toe, still yet to set laps. Ayrton DTS into P9. Where's Nath Clark? He's invalidated, so we'll come off of that car. Myra is way down, must have made a mistake. Trugster is up on his previous time. No, never mind. Through Sector 1, 2/10ths down. So who is improving? Ayrton DTS was improving. Womax is improving, although has just lost a bunch of time in Sector 2. So we'll see if he can gain it back in the third sector. He's currently a long way off P12 though, so he's going to need a monstrous third sector. And in fact, he comes into the pits not happy with that attempt. He will be going again. Ayrton is also out on track. Vans has crashed at the sort of end of Sector 2. No, start of Sector 3, that is. So he will have to go again. Scott will be very unhappy with where he is at the moment. He's P15. I think this is another outlap for him, so he will be on a lap now. Hopefully he can improve up the grid. Ted is also on a lap. Womax, sorry, that is Myra is improving. 1.5 tenths through Sector 1. And towards Sector 2 as well. Slightly off in Sector 2, but still improving overall is the Alfa Romeo. It's not going to be anywhere near enough to challenge the top two, but it will cement their position in P3 at the moment. As Nath Clark's still a way down. And yeah, Myra improves by just under a tenth. So that's a bit of a better target for Nath Clark and Surtak to get up towards. And Surtak is on a lap, but doesn't improve in the end. 16.7, very, very close to his previous time, but no improvement from the Williams. Avi is another person who's improving 3/10ths up. This could see the Mercedes pass both Williams in qualifying. DRS Open up to the line. It's a 16.6, and indeed Avi jumps both Williams into P4. Nath Clark has got some work to do. Who else is on a lap? Aces is not improving. Ted? Zuber is improving. Has just set a lap and has gone P17. Scott also set a lap, but was way down on his previous best. Ted has gone P15, so the McLaren's not having the best of days so far. So the lost APPF1 Donny's in here. Indeed, indeed. I think that's Pommy Alex. And Ayrton goes into P1, a 15.5 from the Ferrari. The reigning champion resets the provisional pole time. Is Donev improving is the question. Doesn't look like it from my telemetry. No, he's definitely not. And that's a spinning Williams of Surtak in Sector 3. Nath Clark again doesn't quite improve. Or is this him going again? I'm not certain. I think this is him on a lap now. No, he's going slowly, so actually he will definitely have to go again. And Nath Clark in trouble here, sitting P5. And I'm sure he'll be thinking that he can do better than that. Yeah, good to see you, Pommy Alex. And yeah, definitely some APPF1 lost drivers in ESRL. Oh, Donev's out. He's forgotten that ghosting is off. Nath Clark. It was Nath Clark that was in the way there. He was on the racing line. He's got a 5-place grid penalty. I think that's justified, to be honest, from what I could see. I'm not going to make any judgments. I only saw it once. I'm sure the stewards will see it plenty of times. But the championship leader with a 5-place grid penalty for taking Donev out of qualifying. And I think that is Ayrton secure on pole position now. Donev's definitely not gonna beat him now. So Nath Clark, his qualifying has gone from bad to worse, and he's going to be 5 places lower. But we know how good his race starts are, so we'll have to see how good they're going to be today as he files into the pit lane with the Aston Martin there. Ayrton DTS is on a lap. Surtak was improving, but is in the pits now. Who is improving? Amir is improving through Sector 1 and through Sector 2. Nearly 2 tenths up in total. Down to the final sector now. Last few corners. Up to the line comes the Mercedes DRS Open. The Season 1 champion sets a 1:16.9. He gets into the 16s. Into P7 he goes. He said before this that he would be happy with being in the top 10 in qualifying. And, well, at the moment he is doing exactly that. Season 1 champion has not been on the form that we know he can be in this season. But hopefully he can have a good race today. Ayrton DTS also improving through Sector 1. That was very, very tidy through the tricky chicane. Around to the end of Sector 2. Careful not to invalidate. Very easy to do through there because the pace of the car really catches you off guard, as he is again improving but not by much. He loses time in Sector 2, so he is still up on his best overall, but can he increase that margin? Coming across the line now. DRS Open, what's it going to be? He's lost his ERS, and he does improve but not his position. Amir now down to P8. Trugster has gotten into P7. A good lap from the Red Bull. Is Surtak on a lap? I think he is. No, he's not. Okay. What about Myra? Myra is improving. Not by much, but is improving. Let's see what it is at Sector 2. 3 tenths faster through Sector 2. So Myra looking to secure P3 on the grid. Is again not going to be able to challenge the likes of the top 2, but Myra should be pretty confident in P3 if they can finish off this lap the way it started. Down to the line, it's a 16.0, almost getting into the 15s. That's a stonking lap from the Finnish driver. Surtak not improving, as we said. Ayrton DTS also not improving. The toe not improving either. Who's that? Lostock also not improving after a poor Sector 2. Who's that that's improving? It's the toe through Sector 1, 1/10 faster. I'm just looking for green sectors at the moment, and no, it's been a curse. And I think that Williams tried to get out the way, but got very unfortunate there with the toe having a spin. Vans has been disqualified from the session. I don't think that is going to be his fault. Probably the game being stupid, so he will start from the back. That will promote Rick to P18 at least. Who else is improving? Aces was improving through Sector 1, 1.5 tenths up, but Surtak is also improving 2 tenths through Sector 1. Can the Williams continue that and get ahead of his teammate into the top 5 or the top 4? Could challenge Avi for 4th as well. I think Myra is too tough an ask, but Surtak right in the balance and 4 tenths up overall now after Sector 2. So Surtak really going for P4 on the grid here, trying to secure it. Remember, Nath Clark is also on a lap. I don't know if Nath Clark just finished a lap or is on one now, but Surtak coming up to the line now. It's a good lap to P4. There it is. Didn't gain that much in Sector 3, but didn't need to. And the Williams driver performing well after coming back up from Division 2. Very obvious why he's come from Division 2. Avi has had a spin into the wall, so he will not be improving. Qualifying is over, so these are the last laps that these guys will get. Nath Clark, half a tenth down through Sector 1, and the championship leader really, especially with that 5-place grid penalty, needs to make up these positions in qualifying, or he will be in a poor spot. Ayrton is also doing a lap. He doesn't need to, but he is. Reigning champion just looking to set down the gauntlet, as it were, as Nath Clark now through. He is up on his previous best, 2.5 tenths, so looking to at least get himself into P4, which will drop him to P9. He wants to start in the top 10, I think, should be his goal here, after that 5-place penalty. Around the final corner comes the championship leader. Takes an unorthodox line, but it could work, and it does work, up to P5, so he will start 10th as it stands. Avi is not improving, obviously, with the crash. Surtak is not on a lap. Ayrton's come back into the pits, and that is your qualifying over. So, quite a hectic qualifying, really, in a lot of ways. Some definitely varying stories, but Donev and Nath Clark, the crash between those two, the biggest story of this qualifying, which meant Donev couldn't improve, obviously, and Nath Clark, 5-place grid penalty, so he will start P10 for the race. Let's see if he can recover. That's a wonderful time from Myra, by the way. Fantastic lap from the Alfa Romeo. Comfortably P3, not that far off Ayrton. And, yes, if you're just tuning into ESRL, if you haven't seen this league before, 4 tenths is indeed, that is not that far off Ayrton. He is just that much faster than everyone else in qualifying usually. But it is the reigning champion on pole position, and Donev, the man coming up from Division 2, even after crashing out of qualifying, will start on the front row. Myra with a brilliant lap to secure P3, with Surtak, the Turkish driver, in P4. Nath Clark P5, but will drop to P10 after the penalty. Avi P6, and then Trugster, Amir, Robinay all the way down in P9 today. Ayrton DTS will start P10. And then the Toe, Aces versus Kings, Womax, Lostock, Scott, Ted. Scott did outqualify his teammate in the end. Zuba 17th, Rick and Vans will line up the back of the grid. It's very rare, by the way, this is. Almost every driver that is registered in this league is racing today. The only one who isn't is Speed Alcoholic, and I know he has very good reason to miss today. I'm in good contact with him, so it's a shame he can't be here, but very impressive turnout for ESRL, I have to say. No formation lap, remember, so we will be getting underway straight away. We're about to get underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a good start from Ayrton. Donev also loses out, in fact, from the start. Surtak with a fantastic start up to P2. It's 3 wide into turn 1 between Myra, Donev and Surtak. Surtak wins out. Trugster also with a fantastic start, side by side with Avi in turn 1. Robinay and Nath Clark also side by side. The Alpha Tauri down the inside, he should have the position, but Nath Clark will have the better overspeed. But Robinay down the inside, round the outside, sorry, of Trugster now as they come up towards turn 4. Ayrton leads from Surtak on Donev, but they're side by side into turn 4. Nath Clark and Trugster losing a couple of positions there, in fact 3 positions as Aces goes through as well. What a start for the Ferrari. That must be, yeah, up 4 positions for him. Nath Clark up 3, Robinay up 2 as well. Some great starts up at the top. Amir, the Season 1 champion, down 4 places already. Womack's down to last place, so something must have happened to the Aston Martin. But it's Ayrton from Surtak from Donev, who had a terrible start in the Alpine and is lucky really to keep P3. Let's look at tyres. So we've got Ayrton and Surtak on mediums. Donev starting on the hards. That'll explain his poor start. Myra, Avi, Robinay on mediums. Nath Clark and Aces also starting on the hards. Very interesting from the championship leader. Ayrton fastest lap, of course. Ayrton DTS. And the toe, the other 2 to start on the hard tyres, but we have to turn our attention to the front because Myra is right behind Donev and looking for a way through, and Rick, also the other Alfa Romeo, looking to gain positions as Lostock goes very deep, and this could be an opportunity for the Dutchman. It is. Around the outside he goes. They're going to be side by side into turn 2. I think Rick's got this though, and he does. Up into P12 he goes. Great start for him. Amir right behind Ayrton DTS, looking to make up for the poor start. We've got yellow flags. That is Myra off with no front wing. Disaster for the Alfa Romeo. Got to be careful not to get disqualified, but also not hit anyone. I believe that's a VSC that we've got. Yeah, full course yellow, but no safety car on track. So virtual safety car, chance to catch my breath. Ayrton with a fantastic start, as always, in the Ferrari on those medium tyres, but Donev will definitely be a threat today. Starting on the hard tyres, will be faster in the latter stages of the race. He'll be glad that it's not a full safety car, although I don't think even the medium runners would have pitted this early for hards. 33 laps on hards in Hungary seems like too tough an ask, to be honest. But I'm glad Rick could find his way back into the game. I know he was his game crashed, so, and what a start for him, up 7 places from the start of this race. Myra into the pits, of course, to change the front wing. Not over yet, but the Finnish driver will be annoyed, I think, is fair to say, after a few unlucky results now, and this will just add to the frustrations. And we've got green flags, so we're back racing again. Nath Clark getting a good getaway off the Delta. Still right behind Robinay. I think that Alpha Tauri will have to yield eventually, but it is very hard to overtake around here. Even if you have superior pace, you have to have a lot more pace than the car ahead in order to make a comfortable overtake around here. So Nath Clark will probably have to bring out the overtaking maneuver and not just breeze past on the straight. And in fact goes wide there, and also he's got the hard tyres as well. Robinay on the medium, so this actually isn't going to be easy at all for Nath Clark. As Robinay comfortably P5. Avi right behind Donev, still in DRS range. Another fastest lap for Ayrton, unsurprisingly, as he speeds away. Once he gets in front, he doesn't usually lose it, does the reigning champion. He's been prone to mistakes when battling this season, but when he's at the front, he has just been imperious, as he was last season. Zuber now sets the fastest lap though, so the Red Bull, after pitting for fresh tyres, no, sorry, after spinning, he hasn't pitted yet, so just had a poor start, but he's now set the fastest lap, so he'll be very happy with that. It's faster pace than Ayrton. There you go, Zuber. That's how you do it. That'll encourage him a little bit. Trugster right behind Aces. Looking for the overtake. Ace is on the worst tyres. Nathan Clark is in fact now outside of the 1 second range of Robin. So those hard tyres clearly difficult to use at this stage in the race. And Trugster trying to take advantage of that. Donev also on those hards needs to not lose too much time to Ayrton. The problem with starting on the hards is that you've then got the whole race. Well, you've got the whole first stint to use the hards on when you've got the most fuel in the car, which just makes it even harder to drive. So it's certainly not easy driving on those hard tyres in the early start stage of the race. So you've got to be very confident to make it work, the alternate strategy on this game this year. But if you've got the pace, it can definitely work wonders. And some tracks it's even better than the medium hard just outright. But Donev will be hoping that it can work for him today. He's nearly in that 1 second range of Surtak, but they're both losing a lot of time to Ayrton every single corner. So this is going to be very tough for them to have any chance of winning this race. There'll have to be a safety car, really. At the moment, but you never know. Donev, we know he's gotten a lot of pace. We saw that in qualifying, so yeah, I don't think this is quite over yet, but I am used to seeing Ayrton this far ahead at this stage of a race and thinking, oh, it's over. That's what usually happens. If he's this far ahead this early in the race, it's just over. Or if he's even ahead at all in the early stage of the race, it's usually just game over. So, we'll see. But here comes Amir on Ayrton DTS, making the move. Competitive overtake in Hungary. It can be done. Into turn 1 he goes. Ayrton is not going to have the cutback because of this stupid double DRS zone. Hey, I love me a good double DRS zone that has no place on the track. If there's a safety car, you'll hear more of my thoughts on that. This is the second worst track that has the double DRS zone. The first worst being Hungary. Not Hungary, being Mexico, of course. But anyway, I'll save my rant for a bit later, as Avi is right on the back of Donev, who has lost some time to Surtak now. He's really struggling to stay within the 1.1, 1.2 seconds of the Williams. So those hard tyres clearly not up to speed yet. The medium's still working really well as it stands. They haven't lost that much time to Ayrton this lap. Ayrton's last lap a 1 minute 19.7 from what I can see, but I'm not sure that's right. Surtak's last lap at 20.3. I'm not sure if that's right. I think the telemetry has been a bit iffy as of late. I think the latest update made it a bit iffy. But Trugster on entry to turn 1, looking for a way through, goes well over the curb there in an attempt to get past, as Rick now down the inside of Ayrton DTS into P10. He has been brilliant in this race so far. Lap 7, he's already in the top 10. That is lost stock into the wall further back, having to reverse out and keep going. But Rick with a fantastic start, up to P10 already from the back of the grid. And he is looking very good as Amir and Trugster now swap positions. I think it must have been a mistake for Trugster, yeah, because Amir now a long way ahead. So it must have been a mistake. Possibly hit the curb at turn 5, sorry, the inside curb at turn 5. It's very, very lethal. You just cannot hit that curb, even on this game when they've made the curbs a bit nicer. It is still death curb. If you hit that at all, you are gone. And it makes sense. That's how it should be with a curb like that at a corner like that. But regardless, Donev is now in the 1 second range of Surtak, so it's looking very close. Now with the Alpine, they've still lost a lot of time to Ayrton. It's now 6 seconds is the gap, but Donev could have an opportunity if he can get past Surtak, and he's going to have the DRS, which will help as well for his straight line speed. That's Lostock again, who's lost it at the final corner. Disaster for Aston Martin today, it seems, as the Toe and Ayrton DTS going side by side in turn 2. Nath Clark gets the first track limits penalty of the day. Could it be 3 wide into turn 4? Surely not. And Ted backs out of that one, thinks, no, I'm not doing that. Thinks better of that one, and in fact then goes for a spin just as I say it into turn 5, and he will have to turn that car around and get it going again. But from nearly going 3 wide into turn 4 to facing the wrong way at turn 5. Curbs are brutal on PC. I imagine so, Bluey. Are they worse than they are on PS4? Well, I guess you wouldn't know because you don't have it on PlayStation. But I do know this track is particularly one of the worst for curbs. Even on this game, you've really got to be careful. Yeah, I don't know if they're worse on PC than they are on PS4. I know they fixed that frame rate issue that everyone was talking about the last couple of weeks. But Rick now going very deep into turn 1. That's opened up the gap for Ayrton DTS and the Toe, who have both taken full advantage. He dives back down the inside at turn 2. He's left room by the Alpine, but unable to get by. And shades of Fernando Alonso defending there from the Toe, but they're side by side again on the run to turn 4. Rick with the superior pace, and the Toe has to concede, but Rick goes a bit wide. That could have been a warning, I think, for the Alfa Romeo driver. And he is back up to P11, making small amends for his error, but losing a position all the same. And that's Aces now off. Everyone's losing it at the moment, and Aces down to P9 now. That was turn 11, I want to say, that he spun at. And that's another McLaren. That is Ted round again at turn 2 this time. A lot of close gaps. I am keeping an eye on Donev and Avi, because they are right with the front. Robinet as well is not far off. Nath Clark has lost a lot of time to them on those hard tyres. He's really struggling, is the championship leader. The Toe now right behind Rick. Rick, without the DRS, goes for a defensive move and then comes back onto the racing line. He is allowed to do that. There's one change of direction, and confuses the Toe enough for him to not be anywhere near overtaking. But, not much happening so far, I'm not going to lie, but it is Hungary. You know, Donev. He's now 9 seconds behind Ayrton. I think every lap that gap goes up by about a second, I think Donev's chances of winning this race are faltering through every corner, it seems, at the moment. 9 seconds is the gap, of course. Myra gets a penalty as well, trying desperately to catch back up on those soft tyres. It's unsurprising, really. I know what it's like to have a poor start to a race, or something happens and you have to pit early, and you have to catch back up, but also try and make sure you don't breach track limits, and Myra has struggled with that clearly, but very easy to do. Donev still in the wheel tracks of Surtak, but they're still losing time to Ayrton every single corner pretty much, and I think unless Donev has some outrageous pace in the mediums, and here comes Donev, in fact, to turn 4. Not quite got the overspeed to make the move, but it was a poor exit for Surtak. And Donev now right in the wheel tracks of this Williams, trying to get past as soon as he can. But the gap to Ayrton now 10 seconds, as Surtak goes a bit deep there in the right-hander of the chicane, but recovers. Just enough that Donev can't get past, and Donev goes very deep there, and that's going to lose him a bunch of time. And that gap to Ayrton's still growing, and I think unless there's a safety car, this race is pretty much over. If Ayrton leading a race form in the past is anything to go by, and I think it will be. Never played it on PS4. The curbs are definitely more brutal than on 21. Really? Really, really? That is interesting. What, in general or just at Hungary? Because in general they are definitely not. In general they're easier in this game. At least on PS4 they are. I have no idea about PC. We've got a spinner. That is Rick. Oh no! Disaster for the Dutchman. He's gone round. I said it in qualifying. Very easy to go round at that penultimate corner. And he has done it. Just lost traction on exit. Donev still right behind Surtak, but unable to make any headway still. And Avi is still in the back of them. And in fact, Robinet also has caught up. He is now in this DRS train as well. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. Is that Rick again? I think it is. Yes, it is. He has gone round at turn 1, and his day has gone from bad to worse. Fantastic start for the Dutchman, but it's just been all downhill from there, unfortunately. I'm afraid to say. Donev in P3, still trying to get any headway on Surtak as the gaps are widening in the midfield. Trugster and Amir are close together, but everyone else well over a second behind each other. Donev still just not close enough to make the move at the moment, and that's Rick gone again in Sector 2, and the Dutchman's day is just tumbling into insignificance, unfortunately. Only tried a few tracks, but turn 4 at Hungary is deadly if you touch it. Oh yeah, Hungary is still horrible for curbs. We do have another spinner. I'm not sure who that was. Trugster is nearby. I think it was Nath Clark, actually. Yeah, it was. Nath Clark spins. He just about gets the car going again, but he's lost a lot of time. And his idea to start this race on the hard tyres, I think, may have backfired for the championship leader. And he's going to have to really push hard as he gets on the curb there, going wide at turn 4. That's going to cost him even more time. And Amir smells blood, perhaps. Ayrton DTS with the next track limits penalty. We've got another spinner. That's another McLaren at the penultimate corner. As Rick has now retired in the pit lane, I don't blame him at all. It's been a horrible day for him. He made a mistake earlier on in the APPF1 race as well, which has probably affected his driving, at least mentally. As Aces and Trugster go side by side, or is that a mistake from Trugster? It is. Ted is the next casualty of the race. He's also retired in the pit lane, but Trugster with a big mistake. Now vulnerable to Ayrton DTS just behind. Is Donev close enough to make a move? Not quite, so we'll come back here as Ayrton DTS looking to make the move on the struggling Red Bull. DRS open for the Haas, I think? Yeah, DRS open down the straight towards turn 1, easy as you like. And the Haas up into P9 as Trugster's mistake cost him another position, unfortunately. Donev still right in the wheel tracks, and Ayrton DTS gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Ted, which is very bizarre given that Ted is out of the race. So Ayrton DTS is going to be very, very annoyed about that, and in fact he's got front wing damage as well. So, yeah, it must have been the AI pulling Ted's car up on the side of the track, but not doing it very well. So that's really cost the Haas driver, and he is going to be furious about that as Trugster takes full advantage of Scott being slowed down by the Haas in front, and that's very opportunistic driving from the Red Bull. He overtakes Scott, and Scott now has to get past the struggling Haas, and he does round the outside. And Van's looking for a way through as well, getting the slipstream off his teammate, but he's boxed in, nowhere to go. And I'm sure he'll get past here though, unless Ayrton DTS goes for round the outside, but without a front wing end plate, he's going to struggle to do that. And DTS into the pits. 14 seconds, the gap to Ayrton. He is well and truly gone. But the interesting battle is the one for P2 at the moment, because we've got Surtak, Donev, Avi and Robinet still in this DRS train, none of them making any major errors. They're all driving exceptionally well at the moment, and although Hungary isn't the best for overtakes a lot of the time, you can get these very, very skillful DRS trains that require a lot of focus and patience and concentration to stay in. And we're seeing that now as Avi is losing out. I think those mediums may be starting to go. And yeah, that's Surtak into the pits, it looks like, for a new set of the hard tyres, I'm sure it will be. And that is Avi now out of DRS range. He hasn't got it up to turn 1, so he is now going to be out of the train. And I think we might see him pit next lap. Where's Surtak going to come out? He comes out on the hards, just behind his teammate and Amir, but he will be ahead of Aces. He will be struggling on those hards for a while, actually, for 1 or 2 laps. Certainly the first half a lap will be excruciating with the understeer on those cold, hard tyres. Coming up to turn 2, and look at this, very, very cautious through turn 2. Gotta be so careful. And Aces making up some time, but not enough to really challenge. A few tenths, but 3 seconds behind. So I think Surtak will be safe in clear air here, so that's what he would have liked to see. And indeed, yeah, these mediums now starting to struggle. Apart from Ayrton, but he's Ayrton. We ignore him. Donev, though, those hards are going to start to come into their own now as Avi, is he going to peel into the pits? Yes, he is, and Robinet just behind. So this battle will continue. Where are they going to come out in relation to Surtak? That is the question, because Surtak, coming around now, the penultimate corner, he is still struggling on those hards, but if he comes out behind them, he will have the superior tyre temperature, and he will be able to make the move, but I think he's going to come out just ahead. It's going to be very close. Look to the right of your screen. Where are the two coming out the pits? There they are. So Surtak comfortably clear in the end, and he takes P4 for now, which is a net P2. And Avi way down, 3.3 seconds coming out the pits. And now Aces is well in the wheel tracks of these two on cold hard tyres, so this could be an opportunity for the Ferrari, but of course he's not in these guys' race, so maybe he won't fight too hard. He'll just want to keep the DRS from these guys until they pace away from him eventually once those hard tyres get warmed up. But yeah, this could give him a slight advantage with the DRS in towards turn 1 and turn 2, sorry. GPS up position, lost off into the pits. As all the drivers on hard tyres have got to regulate themselves here. They can't fight too hard with the guys on the other strategy, but they've also got to make sure they don't lose too much time, because they are going to have to pit. They are going to be on the faster tyre. So interesting to see where Aces comes out, actually. I think he'll be sort of in the wheel tracks of Trugster. It will be close, but I think he will be ahead of the Red Bull. So clear air is what you want when you come out the pits, of course, especially on this year's game when you've got the cold tyres giving you a huge disadvantage. You want the clear air so you can stay with all the other cars. There's Robinet still sticking the wheel tracks of Avi, but he is struggling to stay in that 1 second range. You see, losing a bit of time there through turn 4. So Robinet maybe not quite on the same pace as Avi, and we saw that earlier. He was catching only because they were sort of half battling, and they were in a DRS train and in dirty air, and they were struggling. But now Robinet, now it's clear air for Avi, is struggling to keep up with the Mercedes. And I think he goes very wide, in fact, there, as he tries desperately to stay within 1 second, and that's going to cost him even more time. And now 1.4, he is well out of DRS range, and Avi is clear to go as hard as he wants, really, without having to look behind him at the moment. Does still have to be careful not to make a mistake, though, as I think that is now all the gaps spread out. We do have another spinner. I think that's Myra, who's had another incident, unfortunately. The Finnish drivers had the Finnish driver had a fantastic qualifying, absolutely incredible lap from Myra to take P3 on the grid, but ever since then it has been all downhill, unfortunately, in the race. And I think Myra will be wondering what could have been today. Yeah, Robinet's still unable to catch back up to Avi. So yeah, a bit of a lull in the action at the moment. And just as I say it, we've got a virtual safety car. I don't know who that is that's gone off. Is it Amir? Is it Avi that's gone off? No. Someone's gone off. We've got a full course yellow, a virtual safety car. Yeah, it's definitely a virtual safety car. I have no idea who has gone off though. Maybe the game has decided there's too much debris on the track. I don't think ESRL does simulation damage though. I think we're on regular damage here. So yeah, Myra has now left the session. I don't know if that's a quit or if that's a game crash. Nath Clark taking full advantage of the VSC. To take the pit stop, and the Toe doing the same thing. Aces as well on those hards, taking this opportunity to come in for the mediums. Nath Clark coming out in P6, only 3 seconds behind Robinet, so big opportunity here. We've got a drive-through for Womax, unfortunately. I think there was a drive-through somewhere else as well. No, it was just for Womax, so Womax's day has just gotten that little bit worse, unfortunately. And he will drop almost right to the back. I think he will be just about ahead of Zuba though. As Aces comes out the pits, where will he be? He'll be just behind Trugster, but on the better tyre, so Aces will be looking to hunt down that Red Bull in the latter stage of this race, but that penalty could cost him. Ayrton into the pits finally for a set of the hard tyres. How far ahead of Deneuve is he going to be? Deneuve also has come in for the mediums, unsurprisingly, and he takes his P2. Surtak is 1.5 behind after the pit stop, so he has not been able to stay within DRS. Robinet right still just on the cusp of that DRS from Avi now. Has he gotten it? I'm not sure. Does he have DRS? No, he doesn't. Not quite. Very, very close though. Deneuve 9.7 behind Ayrton. Can he hunt down the reigning champion? What a start it would be to his Division 1 career if he could hunt down the reigning champion from 10 seconds behind and win the race. It will be quite some effort, but he is on the faster tyre. We saw that he's got a lot of pace from qualifying. I just wonder, you know, he is already gaining a lot of time. I'll keep an eye on the lap times. I know we've had the VSC that's still this lap, so I'm not going to take too much from the lap times this lap, but we can see he's just gained a second in one sector, so it's not over yet. Deneuve well within a shot here. Obviously Ayrton's on cold tyres, so that is not going to help him, and once he gets those tyres warmed up, that gap will close a lot slower than it currently is, but that is still a huge gain from Deneuve on this lap, and he'll be looking to keep that up. Message retracted from Bluey. Deneuve sets the fastest lap, unsurprisingly. I think he will keep it. I don't think Ayrton is going to better that on the hard tyres, even Ayrton. And now Robinet right on the back of Avi, so the battles are still going, and Nath Clark also, the championship leader, right on the back of them. He does have that 3-second time penalty, which is going to really cost him, but he definitely wants to get these guys on track, and I think if he can get them on track, he has a real opportunity to pull 3 seconds on them. We can see how much faster those mediums are than the hards. We saw that from the first stint. We're seeing that now with Deneuve hunting down Ayrton. As Nath Clark nearly into the back of the Alpha Tauri through turn 5, sorry. Very, very close between those two. Nath Clark desperately looking for a way through. He wants to clear these guys. He knows he has to pull 3 seconds in order to secure 4th place today and lose as few points as possible to Ayrton. Can the championship leader pull off, well, he pulled off an outrageous dive bomb last week on Speed Alcoholic, which worked absolutely perfectly. So I wonder if he's going to try a similar thing. Donev, fastest lap again. So let's look at the lap times. Ayrton's last lap at 19.2, but Donev, you just saw it, a 1 minute 18.5, 7/10 faster on that previous lap. It's not over yet. And here comes Nath Clark now in towards turn 1. Is he going to go for the dive bomb? Yes, he is. He goes for it into turn 1. The same thing he did last week. Robinett trying to defend it. They're still side by side, but Robinett has to concede in the end because Nath Clark with the DRS makes the position, and the Williams driver, the championship leader, up to P5, and he will be looking to clear Avi as soon as he can in similar fashion. And of course Avi is not going to have the same DRS defense that Robinett did, so this could be even easier for the championship leader if he doesn't make a mistake here. We have seen plenty of mistakes from him this season, but well, he'll be hoping that he doesn't make another one here today. Right behind the Mercedes. Got to be careful in the dirty air. It's a lot less impactful this year, of course, but it's still there. You still do get the dirty air, and it's even without dirty air, to be honest, it is just difficult to follow behind another car. Just because they take you off your line, and you've got to be careful of them. But Nath Clark already looking to go all the way around the outside. Does he have the DRS? He does, and that is a plain sailing move by the championship leader. And now his quest is to gain 3 seconds on this pair. He's going to have the DRS up to turn 2. And I think that quest is definitely well within the realm of possibility. And just as I was saying that Donev could have a chance to win this race, Ayrton has responded with a 1 minute 18.7, which is just 2/10 off the last lap Donev did. There's Donev's last lap with a 19.1. So I think maybe a mistake from the Alpine, or maybe it's just that the pace is now showing for Ayrton. But Robinett could have an opportunity here if he can stick with the Mercedes. Obviously Avi lost some time with Nath Clark, and Robinett tried to make it 3 wide into turn 1 earlier this lap, but just wasn't close enough to make it happen. He's already losing time through this tricky section of track. Aces has now caught up to Trugster as well. I said to keep an eye on this battle, and they are now right next to each other. So these are the 2 battles on track. Robinett and Avi, and Aces and Trugster for P5 and P9 respectively. But Robinett is definitely not going to be close enough on this lap. He's got the DRS, but yeah, that's only going to gain him a few tenths at best. And I'm not going to reveal exactly how much ERS they have, but if you are watching, you can see it on the steering wheel. I'm not going to say it out loud, due to a conversation I had with Scott last week, but you can see there's a little yellow bar just underneath that big orange bar, which is the ERS indicator. That yellow bar indicates how much ERS they have, so and there's Avi's one. So if you're watching as a spectator, there you go. But, yeah, interesting to say the least. Ace is still right behind Trugster. He's going to have the DRS. Could he make the move into turn 2? Has a look. Tries to force Trugster into defense, scare him off the road, but it hasn't worked. Who's that off the track? Is that Zuba? I think it is. Yes, it is. He's had a spin at turn 5, unfortunately. But he's got it going again. He's still in the race at least. And Myra is still just bringing that car home. Although, no, Myra's AI. Myra has left the session. As Myra's AI now comes into the pits, in fact. Beats me. Don't ask me why. But, yeah, that is certainly one of the decisions that has been made of all time. Aces still sitting behind Trugster, unable to make the move. What's the penalty situation between the two of them? They're both on 3 seconds, so this is a genuine battle for position here between these two. Ace is on the better tyres, but Trugster defending really well for now. Is he gonna... Has Trugster just bagged DRS? He has as well. He got DRS off the lapped car that went in the pits. That was Zuba. Just giving his teammate some cheeky DRS into turn 1. Very, very cheeky there, but it's worked very well for Trugster. He's going to have DRS up to turn 2 as well, because this stupid double DRS zone. And he will keep P9 for now with Aces, trying to make up the position. It's the closest battle on track, basically. Ayrton DTS in a similar situation here, although Scott without a penalty, so the McLaren driver does have the advantage in terms of penalties. What does Ayrton have? Ayrton DTS, he has 3 seconds, so it's not too bad. But yeah, right in the wheel tracks of that McLaren, and even if he does get past, he is going to have to drag out a 3-second gap to gain that position, or hope that Scott gets himself a penalty as well. If I had time, I would check warnings, but or rather, if I was a co-commentator, I would check warnings. But just me today, so I will keep your screen on the action. Aces still right behind. Is that Scott made a mistake? He has. Just as I was singing his praises for defending well, he is now down to P12. And I think he's going to be battling with Vans before long, as Ace is now down the inside of Trugster into turn 1. Bit of wheel banging between them, but it was fair enough, I think, from the Ferrari. Up to P9 he goes. Very nice move, and finally that overtake is made. It has been coming for a few laps. Scott into the pits. He does in fact have front wing damage, I can see on the telemetry, so he will be repairing that, unfortunately. And Trugster will now try his best to stay within the wheel tracks of Aces, but it's going to be very, very tricky for the Red Bull on the hard tyres. And especially even older hard tyres than the mediums, and towards the end of this race he will be struggling. Aces will be struggling as well on the mediums, but not enough for it to matter, really. No one's really in tyre trouble at this point in the race. So that means Robin is still in this battle for P5. Nath Clark has already dropped 3 seconds on these two, so he is up to P4 by right. And he is catching Surtak, but I don't know if he's going to have the pace to catch up on track. Never mind the 3 seconds that he's going to need afterwards. So it's going to be tough for him. But I'm sure he will still be happy with P4 after starting in 10th today, as that's a flashing red light on the back of the Mercedes. So Robin knows that Avi is out of ERS. But he is now dropped out of DRS range, so he can't really do anything about it, unfortunately. So he has to stick behind still and wait for a better opportunity. Trugster still on the back of Aces, still doing really well actually to keep with the Ferrari on what is clearly the worst tyre. So maybe Trugster with a pace advantage on Aces in terms of raw pace to be able to keep up with the Ferrari, but just not enough to defend the position from the fresh mediums in the DRS. But we could see a swap back again. You never know. 6.5 laps to go of this race. So across the line to start lap 29. Not quite close enough. I think one thing we need to do, since there's a pretty significant lull in the action now, I do want to do a helmet review on our 2 newbies today. So Donev has a default helmet, 0 out of 10 for Donev, unfortunately. I think a 9 out of 10 drive for him today, but a 0 out of 10 helmet. And Surtak, let's see, what have we got? It's a silver with a blue and red stripe. That's not too bad, actually. It's quite tasteful. From the Turkish driver. I'll give that a 7. I think that's pretty nice, to be honest. Bit of a dust cloud there at the exit of turn 3. Don't know quite what has caused that. Maybe it's Daniel Ricciardo kicking up dirt in everyone's faces. You remember when he did that in Austria? That was brilliant. Be a shame to see him off the grid next year. Trugster is still in the wheel tracks of this Ferrari though. He has not given up, despite the worst tyres, despite the fact that Aces made the move into turn 1. He is really pushing this hard, and he is doing a stellar job here to keep with Aces. Whether he can make the move is a different story at the Hungaroring, of course. There's a sip of water. Also, apologies if my my voice has been a bit nasally today. I do realise that could have been the case today. Yeah, oh no, it's a big mistake from Trugster. Huge slide from him. He's managed to save it. I do not know how that Red Bull is not in the wall right now. That is a fantastic save from Trugster. It has lost him all hope of taking back P9, but he will be... That was definitely a Code Brown moment for the Red Bull driver there, as he survives that particular incident. And he is now way down, but he should be secure in P10 for this race, which I think he'll be happy with. Top 10 finish. As Ayrton DTS comes into the pits, as I assume he knows he has the gap to Vans, or does he have the gap to Vans? It's close, it's 21 seconds when he came in. I don't think he does have the gap, you know. I think he's going to be overtaken by his teammate on exit, but he is going to put a set of the softs on, so he should be able to get past straight away, even if he does. And this is just about the most exciting thing to happen at the end of this race. Ayrton DTS going for fastest lap, and in fact coming out side by side with his teammate as they go through turn 1. Vans Racing makes the move on his teammate, so Ayrton DTS, his effort at getting fastest lap has just had a wrong turn, as it were, and now he's going to have blue flags for the Mercedes behind him of, I believe that's Amir, and he is going to get out the way, and Amir retakes that place. But if Ayrton DTS is going for the fastest lap, then he could have an argument to unlap himself, to be honest, because he is going to be very fast on those soft tyres, and hopefully that doesn't cause any carnage. As Vans now lets him through, and there's an Alpha Tauri right behind them as well, trying to make it through, and I think that's Robinet. Is that Robinet? Yeah, it's Robinet. No, it was Avi was the Mercedes, and Robinet's getting through as well now, so a bit of backmarker problems here for these guys, as Ayrton DTS lets another backmarker through. Is that? Yeah, it was a backmarker. Or is that... No, is that Zuba? Oh no, it's Zuba being double lapped, as it were, so no bother there. But yeah, Ayrton DTS is he's not come out in an ideal position here, it's fair to say, if he does want to get that fastest lap, and he's going to have to really push. It's an 18.5 is the fastest lap from Donev, and if DTS has the pace for that, fair enough, but he will really struggle to get that fastest lap, I think. You can see that his teammate ahead has no ERS left. Ayrton DTS, I think it's fair to say that he has 100% ERS in the tank. He is just waiting for an opportunity to get that fastest lap. And here we go. Is he going to make the move into turn 4? He's not quite that brave to go side by side with his teammate at turn 4 at the Hungaroring. But he could be brave enough to go for an overtake here, because Vans has gone very deep at turn 5. And there goes Ayrton DTS into P11 now. And the track is now clear for him to go for the fastest lap on the next lap. But again, he does have that Alpha Tauri right in front of him, which could cause him problems if he is going for it. Robinet's lapping at about a 1:21.8 last lap. So Ayrton DTS, if he wants the fastest lap, which is a 1 minute 18.5, that'll catch him about 3 seconds for the AlphaTauri. And Robin is definitely not 3 seconds in front. So there could be some problems for Ayrton DTS here in his attempts to set the fastest lap. It's unfortunate for him, really. It's not really deserved. Myra's AI has also come out of the pit. Zuba is also on the softs, as is Scott. Ayrton is indeed going for fastest lap, but he is rapidly approaching the AlphaTauri of Robinay, and you have to cross your fingers here that he doesn't try and unlap himself in a dangerous place in his desperation to get the fastest lap. And accidentally crash into the AlphaTauri, because that would be quite the drama. And Ayrton DTS now, he was 4.5 tenths up through Sector 1, but it was not a purple sector, and he is now caught up to the back of the AlphaTauri. So, again, close but no cigar, really, for Ayrton DTS, because now he's got to contend with the lead car that he's a lap down on, interfering with his fastest lap attempts. And yeah, it's definitely not going to be on this lap. Is that Zuba that's gone around yet again? It is, unfortunately. And he's going to have to get that going again. He's still in P15 though. He's still in the race. And he will still score points today. Everyone scores points in ESRL. And now Ayrton DTS looking to unlap himself, but he's not actually. He's not going to go for it. So I think he's just going to accept that that is his fight for the fastest lap over, due to an unfortunate timing with lapping and unlapping himself. So yeah, really unfortunate there for Ayrton DTS. I think he really would have had a shot at the fastest lap, but yeah, just bad timing really there with Robinay. Just not either of their faults, of course, just unlucky for Ayrton DTS in the end. And that is Ayrton across the line. In fact, I thought it was lap 32. So Ayrton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix by quite some margin. We haven't seen him all race, and that is because he has been leading by such a huge distance. Donev, 7 seconds down the road, finishes in P2. Still a wonderful result for his first race of Division 1. Talking about wonderful results for first races in Division 1, Surtak also gets himself on the podium. So great result for the Williams driver. Nath Clark, the championship leader, secures P4 in the end, which he can't be too unhappy with, I don't think. Avi finishes P5, which is again a fantastic result for him. Robinay done in P6 today. The Season 1 champion Amir will come across the line in P7. Quite a way off the top 6. The Toe, quite a way off the Mercedes. It's been a very lonely race really for Amir in this second stint especially. As well as the Toe, actually. Look at that, 12 seconds to Aces, 15 seconds to Amir, so a lonely race, but still a very solid P8 for the Alpine. Aces will finish in P9. Trugster has really caught up to the back of the Ferrari, but not quick enough. Even despite his mistake, he's really caught that up, but he will finish P10. And I can reveal also, Trugster had minor front wing damage for pretty much the entire second stint from what I could see from my telemetry. So that is a solid drive from Trugster to stay with Aces for all that time. And if it weren't for the mistake, he would have had a real opportunity at P9, but he'll still be happy with a top 10 finish. So here is the podium. Ayrton wins again in dominant fashion. Definitely he was challenged in qualifying, which is not something you usually say about him. Donev was very close to him on qualifying pace, but race pace, he is again a league of his own. I like how the Ferrari mechanic that's on the podium is still wearing the red. He couldn't be bothered to do the yellow for the mechanic. But anyway, Ayrton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of Donev with a fantastic result for him, and gets the fastest lap as well in P2. Surtak also secures a debut podium in Division 1, so well done to him. Nath Clark, P4 in the end after starting P10. I think he'll be happy with that in the end. Avi rounds up the top 5 with Robinay unable to make the move on the Mercedes in the end. He finishes P6. Amir P7, The Toe P8, and Aces and Trugster round out the top 10 with Ayrton DTS, Vans Racing, Lostock and Scott all being lapped, Zuba being lapped 3 times after a bunch of mistakes, Myra's AI finishing in 16th, and then Womax, Ted and Rick DNFing from the session, unfortunately. Driver of the day, tricky one. It is a tricky one, it really is. There's part of me that wants to give it to Trugster, just because I think he did really well with that front wing damage in that second stint. But the mistake, I think, has to disqualify him from Driver of the Day today. I'm going to go with... I mean, you've just got to give it to Ayrton, really. He was just so much faster than everyone else. I think Ayrton because you kind of have to, but also Donev for a fantastic debut to finish P2 and to really challenge the reigning champion in qualifying. In the race, it was a different story, of course, but maybe if he'd gone on to the primary strategy, the medium hard, he might have had a shot. Who knows? He did manage to get the fastest lap, so I think I'll jointly give it to the top 2 today. Regardless, that will be your Hungarian Grand Prix. I hope you all enjoyed. It was a bit of a dull one, I'm not going to lie, but it's Hungary. It's not the fault of ESRL. This is a fantastic league, and we saw that last week in Austria. That was one of the, if not the best race I have ever commentated on. It's just, Hungary is very dry of action a lot of the time, so I think still some snippets of action, still some good overtakes, some great moves actually into turn 1, especially that dive bomb from Nath Clark. That was very good indeed, but a bit of a topsy-turvy session today for some drivers, and I did my best to keep it interesting in the commentary box in that second stint. I hope you still enjoyed the race, but that will be all from me today. I'll see you next week for more ESRL. Where will we be? And in fact, quick look at the standings as well. Let's see. So Nath Clark was 11 points clear before this race, and of course Ayrton won the race, so he'll get 25 points, and fourth gets 16 points, so that's a 9-point gain from Ayrton. So the gap going into next week will be 2 points between the top 2 in the championship. Very exciting indeed. And I believe Avi will be into P3 in the championship as well after today. He has been brilliant this season, I've got to say. Avi, he's not been on the pace of Nath Clark and Ayrton, but he's been so consistent this season, and he has been very much on the pace that he is needed to be. So I have to say I've been impressed with Avi this season. And Robinay, of course, sort of newcomer into ESRL, and he has been fantastic. And he will be P4 in the standards after this race, I believe, as well, with speed missing today. So, great stuff from those two. Great stuff from Nath Clark and Ayrton to keep the championship fight going. We've got 4 races to go in ESRL, 2 points between the top 2. But I think Nath Clark really needs to win a race, and soon. If at all possible, he needs to win next week. Because otherwise I think Ayrton will just run away with this championship. But there we go. I mean, that's my prediction. We'll see what happens. But without further ado, I have been Ghost, and hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all next week for more ESRL. We will be in Imola, so should be a very exciting one. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.